Grady is not just a community hospital, but a hospital that cares.
We like to have that human bond. I mean, patients are people first.
I think people should know that Grady is very caring.
Collectively, they are one. They are a true team. I couldn't wish for a better place for anyone to go.
I've never met a group of such humble people who are, that could save my life like that. It's incredible.
For 125 years, Grady Hospital has stood as a beacon of healthcare for Atlanta and beyond. Throughout that time, it has been many things to many people.
Emergency medicine and trauma is a linchpin specialty for the Grady Health System. We are the front door for so many. As a regional level 1 trauma center, Grady has emerged from an urban safety net hospital to a provider of choice for people who are acutely ill and injured. This has included patients who are victims of trauma, as well as those with stroke and burn and a number of other very complicated medical conditions.
But perhaps what most sets Grady apart is the care the health system offers all of its patients. And those stories are seen every day in the relationships that develop between the patients and the staff. For example, 13-year-old Chelsea Skelton, who came to Grady's nationally acclaimed burn unit after being severely injured in a car accident, and her nurse, Moni Bartoli.
We intubated her. She was put on a ventilator. She had multiple surgeries. They had to do skin grafts and everything. And every step of the way, she was a fighter.
And it was during that process that Moni and Chelsea formed a special bond.
So we just chatted. We just talked about stuff like life, not just the hospital and things in here.
Nurse Moni, you're a really good friend and you're caring and loving. I want to thank you for everything you did.
And when Grady's vast expertise combines with the care they provide, lifelong bonds emerge, as they did for Rodretta Green, a school teacher who went into cardiac arrest in her classroom.
The Correll Cardiac Center has given us the gift of every tool possible to save the lives of patients like Mrs. Green.
From the paramedics to the nurses and to the doctors, I would just like to say thank you. Grady became like a family to me.
And you can see that same sentiment every day in Grady's Ponce Center. National leaders in the treatment of advanced HIV/AIDS who saved the life of Russell Martin.
Grady just scooped me up in their arms and took me in.
Dr. Jonathan Colasanti was Russell's doctor.
Russell was a unique relationship. We were essentially the same age. I looked at him, and aside from the colors of our skin, I really saw myself reflected in him. His course and his journey was interrupted by this abrupt onset of his illness.
Dr. Colasanti, amazing doctor. The relationship that he allowed me to have with him, I think it's second to none, because he didn't treat me as a patient, he treated me as a friend.
And when 28-year-old Audrey Danbury suddenly suffered a life-threatening stroke, the medical breakthroughs made possible by Grady's Marcus Stroke Center were outshone only by the profound care her doctors provided.
Everyone just made me feel like everything was going to be okay, and which is incredible because of how scary it was in that moment. Dr. Housen really stands out to me. He was the one that did the surgery to remove the clot.
Knowing that I have 2 kids like her, the greatest thing was to see her and her husband Ryan really holding their kids in their arms stronger than ever.
He's so humble. He will never truly understand what he means to me and my family. Because every day that I can spend with my husband and my children, I will always think of them and what they did for us.
And nowhere is the depth of these relationships seen more clearly than it is in the neonatal intensive care unit, where Julia and James saw their newborn son transferred by Grady's Angel 2 ambulance after he was born at another hospital with severe complications.
Baby Julian came to us in a very serious condition, and without the cooling therapy and all the other therapies that were done for the baby, the outcome would have been extremely tragic.
That 4-hour period between the time he was born and transported, it was very, very emotional for me, because I was separated from both of them. They saved my son. And I'm forever indebted.
Julian wasn't born at Grady, but he is definitely a Grady baby.